Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, my good friend Larry sent me a text this morning and said it would be probably better if we could look at this in a section view so we could see what's going on. And I agree. I'm looking at this. That's not to the right spot. This is, Chief is telling me that. Okay. So, what I did was, I did a section view in Chief, and it only follows the lines, so I need a modified section view. But this works, and we can kind of see what's going on. They've pulled the ridge back. All of these are aiming for that one point, but for this to work, you'd have to put a bevel on your ridge, and nobody frames like this. This ridge needs to come out to the right-hand side of these two common rafters, and then that would clip this extension, this high point off. And I'll show you what a section looks like in Chief. Oh, the other thing is there's no bird's mouth on here except at the hip. See how the hip went up, and that's where it's supposed to go. But it seems like right there, you would notch that out, that little bit right there. You would notch that out of every rafter on the 12-12 side, but it's not doing that. And even, oh, I know what it is. So the reason why the 2x4s don't line up is because Chief also considers their overhang to be over the fascia. And that's another thing that's not standard. Everything is dimensioned over framing. And then you add the little accoutrement to the outside. But we're going to help them because Chief's pretty amazing. I just want it to be cut sheet worthy. Yeah, I can't do this in AutoCAD. I could probably do this in SketchUp if I knew that, but I'm not a SketchUp guy. So enough of looking at Chief. We're going to do this one last thing. We're going to go here. Back clipped cross section. And I'm going to just go straight through all this. Okay. Oh, it's got okay. Has a foundation. That's crazy. That's what's going on. You know what? I don't want that causing me any problems. So I want to go to delete objects. And I want to delete foundations. Is there even a thing? I'm reading. I guess that's not going to be a thing. We're going to have to go here. And I don't want to delete. There, I want to delete the foundation. Okay. Boom. All right. Very good. See how the soffit lines up? Almost. Yeah. I'm in the middle of the soffit on the left, and I'm on the top and the soffit on the right. So that's another micro glitch. This doesn't really help me. Well, that was crazy. I had done a bunch of talking, and evidently, either by pressing Z or whatever, it caused OBS to stop recording. I was just going to make the transition from Chief Architect to AutoCAD. So this is looking at the 8 and 12 end so that we can see the 8 and 12 rafters. And what I need Chief to do is when it gives rafter length, it's actually from the long point here to the plumb line outside of framing. That's the rafter right there. It's the correct number and everything. And then here's the additional amount you would add for a tail. So if there was a way that in their database, they already know this. They know the thickness of the ridge and they know the span. So they could take the span minus ridge divided by 2 and they would get the actual calculated run, which is from face of ridge to over framing. And then they could apply Take this number divided by 8/12. Oh, correction. Multiply by 8/12. That will give you this height right here. Then you can take this squared plus this squared square root and get this. Or you can use, there's a trig function using cosine and something else. I'll have to look it up. Get the same length. So all these numbers are correct. I'm just going to let it sit here for a minute. And then if anybody's following along, it's a 20-foot building with 1/2-inch plywood on the outside. You don't measure to the outside of plywood. You don't measure to the outside of fascia. Everything that is dimensioned is framing only. And I'm going to try and do this same thing. I'm going to zoom in over here. I'm going to hit the letter Z and see what happens. It was paused. So if I'm here and I hit the letter Z, okay, so I've determined what's going on. When I hit the letter Z in AutoCAD to zoom, it causes the shortcut key to activate in OBS, which is pause. So that's lame. I need to find the zoom tool as a tool. Well, I'll just scroll in. Oh, hey, look, it's still set up. Yay. Escape. We'll just scroll. That tells me I got to go into OBS and change its shortcut keys because I can't have that. That totally ruined everything. So here's the 8/12 side. This is the end common, and it's the same length as the main commons. And here's what the ridge should be. Not 13.9 and whatever Chief said. Here's the rafter length for the 12/12 side and the tail length for the 12/12 side, so that the 16-inch overhang is not only the same 16-inch, but it's also at the same elevation. You have to raise the steeper side by that much. And that's part of where that spreadsheet came from the previous video. It's all going to get encapsulated to where you'll navigate by ridge. You'll start with ridge A, you'll put in all the data, you'll print that page, then you go to ridge B and you put in that data and print that page. And you should have everything you need, except stuff like floating hips and floating valleys. But those are easy enough. I'll show how that works. So we're going to zoom in, let you guys see this. This is the 30-foot section. When I'm framing, I would always, if there's 3 sides that are all the same pitch, like on the right, it's 8, 8, and 8, then my first common would be at the end of that ridge, and then I would work my way to the left, and I would have a close layout on this end, because this is a totally different pitch. And then what happens, if you really want to be high speed, I mean, you don't have to be, but you can figure out how to take this layout and go over 16 inches and 16, so that when you're running your plywood, the end of the ridge means nothing. All these are on 16-inch layouts all the way down your jacks. Now, I don't have that set up in my calculator that way, because I always start from where the hip starts and I work my way down on center. So this would be a transition point where you'd be cutting plywood back and forth. But I'm sure there's a way I could mathematically figure that. If I knew what this length was right here, which I should know, then I could enter that and it would cause this to be 16 over here. I much rather do that. Like if I'm on site, I would rather have somebody pull the first measurement, come over 16, make a mark, pull this length, and then from here just subtract increments off, just so that I'm cutting less plywood. I'd rather use full sheets, no cuts, till I absolutely have to. What else? I think that's it. I'm going to try to combine these 2 videos so that it's just one. And I don't really have anything of value to say other than if we can get Chief to get this level of specificity, then we'll have cut sheets. without having to do anything. That would be really cool. So, all right. I think the first one that I didn't record was better, but hey, man, c'est la vie dans Grandville. Boom.